What's a better word for that? Fairly. They should be treated fairly, but you cannot treat the person the same way. If they are the first time they've ever been through your contracting system, you cannot treat them like someone who says, please don't bore me with that. I've looked at that policy a million times. Please get on with the show. You know, you cannot do that. And, you know, and your organization, and some of you are not in this, but if you're dealing with someone who is 30 years of age, has 5 kids sitting in the car, they're 20 minutes late to work, they gotta get out there and get on to work, versus that senior citizen who is dressed up, put on that mothball coat, smell, all summer, and they come down, and they're down there to socialize and hang out with you, and you can't shove them through the line as quickly as you can those who are wanting you to move it, move it, move it. Now, they should. I'll give you one person. A person was treated the same as I. Any of you read The 1 Minute Manager? Any of you have ever read The 1 Minute Manager? Well, Ken Blanchard, who wrote that, was out one morning, and it was about earlier in the day, 10:30 or something, and he thought, there's a Baskin Robbins. He thought, you know, are they open? He said no cars in front, but he decided, he drove up and there was someone in there. And so he opens the door and walks in, and he walks right up and he starts looking at the ice cream. And there was a young woman behind the counter, and not so long before an older woman came, and she came by this young woman, she whispered something. And as she cut it out of the way, she said, sir, you'll have to take her number. By that time, he's waking up to the world around him. And he said, and he saw this thing where you pull this tab out, little paper thing, and he looks up there and there's a numbering system, and he looks around him and he said, take a number, I'm the only one in here. And she said, and on her voice she says, sir, please don't get me in trouble. Now, you put a good and put a bad system, and the system is going to win every time. Every time. And if it doesn't add value to the customer, why are we doing it? If there's 25 people lined up for customer service, is that pull tab thing a great idea? Now, for him to walk over there and have to pull this thing out, to call out the number, and then dump it in the trash, and he goes into the landfill and fills up our landfills and things. So he decided to go along with it because he could see this young woman was in trouble. So he pulls it, and he went back over looking, and finally said, I'll have so-and-so. She didn't say, boo turkey to him. She looked up and she said, 37, 37, 38, and it got to 41, and that was his number. And he said, when she got to his number, he said, you know what, I'm no longer hungry. And he walked out. He's no longer hungry. And so, in looking at this, if you're going to have that kind of system, make sure that the system is in sync with the numbers up on the board. But these are the little things that drive us nuts. The other day I was in, this was a little while ago, I was in Alaska Airlines. Alaska Airlines is a regional airline on the West Coast. And I said something, and so I got the counter and I said, I would like so-and-so. And she said, you should be in the MVP Gold line. Not a soul was around. And I said, just a minute. And I go back over and I stand in the MVP Gold line. You know, you put silly systems in place, and you get silly behavior. You get difficult behavior with customers, I can tell you. Most customer complaints are beyond our control. What % of complaints come because of the way the person treated you on the front line?
90%.
Let me go and see if I can slide down. I bet you want to see that, right? Okay, here it is. Here's why customers never come back. And some of you are saying, well, I'm the government and you're locked in. Well, I'm back telling you, you're locked in. Hey, you can't go there with me. Now, here it is. Look at it. Tell me why they get upset with the person on the front line. Well, how impact? Have you ever had bad service? Okay, what drove you crazy most? Was it the tires that were no good, or the way they treated you in the process? Was it, you know, the bed you bought, or was it the way they treated you, trying to get that thing corrected? most of the time it is the person, how they treat you on that front line.